there's no disputing the fact that Matchless make incredible amps, but for me this is a real example of where the gear and the person just don't match in the middle. When I bought the Matchless amp, I was in the phase of wanting to try every different type of sort of, legendary gear that I could, from the 2-Rock to Matchless to, all the other amps that I've tried, the Rift Ainsley Lister, my 1967 Vibrolux Super Reverb, my Tone King, Sky King, the list goes on and on. I flitted from amp to amp to amp, just wanting to explore and feel excited by it all in that first couple of years when I was playing the guitar. In the last 6 months or so, I've really gravitated towards vintage blackface and tweed amps. And ultimately, I feel like that's where I'm parking the bus. Those are the sort of amps that I love to play, and everything else is just a bit of an experience and a bit of fun. The Matchless in particular has been an amp that I've always thought it sounds great. It just doesn't sound great when I play it, and it doesn't inspire me. And so really this video, it's not going to be very long because I've just given you the answer, is a little bit about why not every great piece of gear is great for every player. First of all, let's hear me fumbling about. Here's the thing, when I play this Matchless amp, I'm always in my head and I'm always thinking about how it doesn't quite sound the way I want to sound. To me, sometimes it has this quite nasal sound, and it doesn't sound as natural as what I'm used to, which is that sort of 6v6 or 6L6 sound, the Fender sound, the open bell-like sound that I really love. I find the notes can be oversaturated, and it's almost like there's too much syrup dripping all over the notes when you play, and I don't get that separation. And I feel like I'm just playing the wrong sort of music for it. Yeah, this amp deserves to be played by someone who can take advantage of what it is and use the sound that it has. I find myself turning it on and trying to play the same sort of music I play on my little tweed Lazy J amp or something like that, and just getting a little bit disheartened and thinking this just isn't working. Why have I got this amp sitting here? It's an amazing tool that someone else could use to create music, and it's just being wasted. If you follow the channel in recent times, you might have noticed I've been selling a lot of gear. I think I've sold 10 pedals over the last month or so. I'm certainly getting to know the woman at the post office a lot better than I used to, and it's a real sign that I'm finished with my experimentation phase as such. Like, I wanted to emulate lots of players who have amazing pedal boards or whatever amps they were using, or I needed to discover everything, and I've reached that limit of, if I'm being brutally honest, I spent, I don't want to even say, like 12 or 15 grand on pedals. Now, luckily with pedals, I can probably get 80 to 85% back, and I've sold maybe a third of those pedals already. And I only need about, fewer than 10 pedals to really get the sounds that I need, which are just very simple. When it comes to amps, I've got way too many amps, and I only need, I only need one. I'd like to have a 5 or 6, and I've still got 10 or 12. Yeah, the point is, everyone has a different phase, is in a different phase of their journey. I was in like sort of experimentation, accumulation, discovery, and learning, and it was easier to sit and click a buy button than it was to sit and try and listen to someone playing a demo at Carter Vintage Guitars and work out what they were playing. The difference is, the more I've played and practiced and fallen in love with a certain type of music, sort of Delta blues, rootsy blues, that's 50s, 60s blues, all of that stuff, the less I want to worry about the gear, and the more I just want to sit here, soak it in, and try and figure out how the people that I love their music, how are they playing that, and how can I learn from that and take what I need from it. And that is a big journey, and it's difficult, and so it's easy to just say, oh, I'll just look at amps today, it'll be fun. So recently I said I've sold about 10 pedals from the Automatone, you know, the one with the moving parts, the Origin Effects Revival Drive, which I never used, a bunch of fuzz pedals. I only need the Vemuram Jam Ray, the Vemuram Shanks, my Dominion fuzz and my Austin Pride fuzz, and a rotary pedal, the Catalan Bred Valcoda, which is a tremolo that I really like, and the Catalan Bred Topanga, which is a reverb pedal that I really like, that has its own colour to it, its own tone. And the Mad Professor Supreme for really stratty stuff. And that's probably all I need apart from my tuning pedal. A few other pedals I might have for fun, but now is the time for me just to say, right, it's just me and a tweed amp, me and a blackface amp. I want to try and be better at the playing. So going forward, this is a bit of a channel update as well, I guess. If you watch my channel, you might be interested in this. I'm going to be selling my 2-Rock. I've already made a deal to switch my Bartel Roseland for a vintage 65 deluxe reverb and a Lazy J J40, which is going to blow us out of the room, I think. I have to use my attenuator for that. And I want to sell my Tone King Sky King, my Hook R20, my Vibrolux reissue, my Marshall JTM 45 reissue, and possibly my Super Reverb Tone Master, although that could be useful if I play out, being that it's attenuated and it has no tubes and it could be a backup amp. But if you're interested in any of those, let me know, and when we can see if we can find a price that you might like. They're all great amps. The point is I can only play 1 or 2 amps at a time, and I gravitate towards very specific ones now. The Rift Ainsley Lister, my 67 Vibrolux, and my Lazy J J10, and I'm assuming the J40 and the 65 Deluxe Reverb will join those. And then I've got one amp on order, which is a Tweed Pro copy that was originally made for Kirk Fletcher by 633 Engineering. And that is a no reverb amp, 35 watts when it's in solid state rectified, and you can switch it to 22 watts with tube rectified. And from what I've heard him play, it's just got a really sweet tone. I think it'll be slightly different to the Lazy J, which will be an interesting comparison. So my gear thoughts are not as motivated by what I can show on my YouTube channel anymore, because at some point you have to be so true to yourself. At the beginning, the first 2 years, I just wanted to try all the gear, and I demonstrated that on the channel. And I always said this is the journey I'm on. But when you take a complete left turn, you know, away from that, and your journey becomes much more about actually, okay, I want to be a better player. Like, I'm 36 now, nearly 37 in less than a week. And by the time I'm 40, I'd love to sit here and be able to play competently, you know, with a decent repertoire of early blues music. You know, it feels like a huge ambition for me, but you might all be sitting there thinking, well, yeah, you can do that. I mean, the funny, some people will say, oh, well, you know, you once you grow into it, you'll start playing jazz and other things. I'm like, hang on a minute, where does that come from? I've had that quite a few times. Oh, you'll grow into something else, fusion, jazz, whatever. I don't see music like that. Music is not, it's not competitive, and it's not about knowing more, but it's about playing from the heart. And if a certain style expresses what you are, which for me the blues feels like that, why would I grow into something else? I might play jazz at some point for a reason, but it's not an aim of mine. The aim of mine is to be as good with my fingers at playing the music that I want to play, which is, as I've said. So I might as well do an update on my guitars then while we're doing this. I recently switched my ES355 Gibson Custom Shop for my Danocaster, which is a guitar that I've been sitting here and playing for hours and hours and hours. Definitely in my top 3 or 4 guitars that I own in terms of what I want to play. It has the sweetest tone, and I'll make a video again with it very soon and show you what I mean. I don't need pedals with it. These days I tend to turn up any amp I'm playing, I just do what I've seen a lot of pros do, turn the amp up a bit too much and then use my guitar volume and roll it back. I feel like that's all I need. If I was playing live, then an overdrive pedal would help me to deal with volume issues and or having a boost for lead. But for playing at home, I don't really need any pedals. But I have a few guitars on order, which you might find interesting. I have, and this is all to do with my Pink Guitar Project charity fundraising thing, which I'm going to put the Instagram tag in the description. I'd love it if you went and followed that. Just quickly, as my wife is going through breast cancer, I decided to start a fundraising organisation called the Pink Guitar Project. We're making a pink guitar between myself and a real luthier, pickup maker and guitar painter. Me not being a real luthier, but just a hobby luthier. So we're making a Strat style guitar, which will be in pink. Someone's making a pink fuzz face pedal. We're having a pink Mark I tone bender. We're having a pink brown protein. We're having an Anchor Jubilee, which is the most expensive TS-808 copy in the world, made with all NOS parts. We've got a germanium booster. There's a set of PAS being made by Joel from JW Restoration, which are epic and used by a lot of pros. We've got a Marshall amp that's going to be in pink. All sorts of stuff that's going to be sold off, a lot of it raffled rather than auctioned. I want as many people to be involved and be able to potentially win some of this amazing stuff. And the last part, which I was going to reveal in a future video soon, but I'll tell you now, for those who've got this far in the video, I'm going to be making a parts caster, as opposed to the main build, which is all made by hand. I'm making a parts caster where I've ordered the body, the neck separately, and we'll put all the bits together and have it painted in pink. And that will also go in the raffle, whereas the main guitar probably will be auctioned. But the parts caster will also have Sunbear pickups on, so it'll be top quality, amazing sounding, and it will have really good vintage style bridge and everything. So I want the Pink Guitar Project to grow and go for years and raise as much money as possible, but also to involve as much music and musicians. So we've got some great players, from Kirk Fletcher to, I don't want to mention all of them yet because some of them don't want to be mentioned until they've actually done whatever they're going to do, little demos and things for me. But JD Simo, Joey Landreth, Aaron Hebert from the Emerald Guitar City, Emerald Guitar channel, whatever they're called. Emerald City Guitars, sorry. I've got Buddy Blues, he's got a great YouTube channel. Sasha Ivantich, he's got a great YouTube channel. Paul Stafford Cook, Ainsley Lister, they're all going to help me by playing a little bit with one of the bits of gear and putting it on Instagram and whatnot, and we're going to have this beautiful sort of coming together. And I'm hoping in future to have live gigs and all sorts where some of these people come and play and we auction off the gear or raffle off the gear. So, in order to market all that, I've decided to buy myself a few pink guitars that I can use on the Pink Guitar Instagram page and when I make YouTube videos about it and everything. So I've got 3 really amazing guitars that I'm super excited about. I've got, this one might shock you, I've got a PRS Silver Sky, Roxy Pink with a rosewood board. It's on back order. All 3 of these are on back order, so they're going to take 2 or 3 months probably to come. So we can do some Silver Sky versus Strat videos and all of that lovely stuff. I've got an Iverson Dakota, which is an amazing handmade guitar in England. I think it's got a through neck construction. It's basically a Les Paul shaped Firebird, and it's going to have Sunbear pickup Sunbirds in, and it's going to be done in TV pink. I'm giving it all away. And lastly, I have a Kithara Harland. You can look it up, in pink, on order as well. Ariel Posen has been playing a Kithara recently. I didn't actually know that until after I ordered it. It just looks so cool. So it's got a Strat shaped body, but it's got a Tele bridge pickup and some sort of other neck pickup. I think it's a Filtertron or something, and a Bigsby. And so, yeah, those guitars are coming to the channel for me to use and demo because they're pink. And, I need to create as much awareness for my project as possible. So clearly I had to buy 3 pink guitars. But yeah, it's all part of it for me. Let me finish on the Matchless, seeing as that's what this was about. This Matchless really is what tipped me over the edge in thinking, okay, I don't need to buy every great amp that ever existed. I just need 1 or 2 amps, 1 or 2 flavors. And me being me, and like some of you, I like to collect a few things. I don't mind having 3 or 4 tweeds and 3 or 4 black faces. I think that's awesome. Plus my Rift Ainsley Lister, which is a Marshall type amp. It really covers me for everything I could need. I'm putting a clip of me trying to play this Matchless at the end of the video here. And as usual, I don't mind making myself look stupid. But if you watch that, even just part of it, you'll realize I'm not enjoying my playing. I'm really in my head about why does this sound like this? Why doesn't it suit me? And yet other people, for the music they play, sound incredible with this amp. So it's not one of the reasons I've stopped doing sort of like amp reviews as such or trying to compare things like that, is that all of these things can sound great depending on the player. I'm a very limited blues player at the moment, and so I can't make everything sound great, and yet for someone else it'd be the perfect amp. So yeah, this video is a bit of a ramble on a Sunday morning. It's quite early in the day, someone's coming to pick up the Matchless, and I just thought it was a good time to update you all on the channel, and I hope this has been interesting to some degree. That's it, really. That's the way the channel's going forward. New guitars to come later in the year, more stuff about the Pink project, the parts caster that I'll show you how I'm building it on the channel. We'll compare it to my custom shop strats. That's going to be great fun. And yeah, when I get the Lazy J40 and the 65 Deluxe reverbs, we'll have videos about that. In the meantime, I'll be back later in the week with something else. I'm not sure what, whether it's a teaching video or an amp review or a gear playing video or whatever, but yeah, I'm in a bit of a transitional period, and the channel's reflecting that as I try and figure out how to best show you what it is on my journey that I'm doing at the moment, which is largely watching Carter Vintage videos and trying to figure out how I can play something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.